Good morning, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving and welcome to the Total Picture. Today, we're going back in time a little bit, so let's get started. Today, we're doing something a little bit special. So with the holiday, we decided to take you guys back and show you a special edition of the Total Picture where we take you through the corn facility and show you everything we do to condition, treat, bag, and get our corn ready for distribution once it's out of the field. So please sit back and enjoy the Total Picture episode 69, the Tower Tour. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Total Picture. We've got something special for you today, so let's get right into it. So last week we talked about how we are finished up with our corn harvest for the year, and we've had a lot of conversations about what we do with our corn after it gets here. So we've taken you a green sort, we've showed you the process where we get it into our facility, get it sorted, get it husked, and then we take it to the dryer where we get it to the right moisture level. And then we've showed you that we take it to our sheller where it tumbles around on itself to get the seeds off the cob. So now we're at a point where our president, Aaron Conaway, is going to take you on a quick tour of our seed corn processing facility. Really get to see how we sort through our seeds and how we get to the final product that is packaged and ready to go out to our customers. So without any further ado, I will hand it over to our president, Aaron Conaway.
Now we get to the first step of our process. We have two pieces of equipment that we're going to talk about. The first piece of equipment is a cleaner or a scalper. The same piece of equipment we use right after our sheller. So we do a rough cleaning with a scalper right after we shell it before we put it into the corn into the bin so it'll store better. When we bring corn from the bin into the tower, we put them into these overhead bins, getting ready to feed this scalper. What we do with this scalper is we set the top screen and the bottom screen for our facility. So what I mean by that is this top screen has a 25/64 of an inch hole. The bottom screen in this has a 15/64 of an inch hole. That looks like this. So what we do is we flood this scalper with corn. Any corn that fits through the top of this hole or doesn't fit through the top of this hole will fall off the screen and will be discarded. It's too big to bag for seed. Anything that falls through the little hole at the bottom of the screen, the 15/64, it gets discarded. It's too small to stay for seed. Everything in between then falls off the end of the scalper and gets aspirated. Gets light chips blown out of it, gets dust blown out of it. It's the first step of cleaning. The next machine is a color sorter. This is a Sataki Evolution color sorter, one of the newest ones on the market. It's able to see color and shape. These machines continue to improve because the old machines that we used to have would only see the differences in a backlight. This can really see kernels of corn like your eye can see. And what it does is we from the scalper, we load the hopper above the color sorter. It gets directed into these channels. These channels then go through the machine where cameras are looking at them. And the cameras are able to look at them from all different directions and look for defects. And if it sees a defect, it tells the ejector that there's a defect coming or this is a bad kernel coming and we want to inject it out with a blast of air. So after the camera sees it, it tells the ejector to hit it with a blast of air, you eject it, it gets ejected. Cool thing is that we can pull up the discards or the seed that's been rejected up here on the screen. We can spin it around, we can look at it, we can decide if whatever it's discarding is what we want it to discard. So some of the seed has red stripes, for example. And if it starts discarding seed that has red stripes, we can go in and say, hey, those red stripes are good, don't discard those. Or if it starts to see different things on the kernel that aren't actually bad, we can tell the machine, don't discard that is good. When you see that next time, keep it. The other thing that's unique about this machine or fun about this machine is seed has to be discarded twice in order for it to be completely discarded. So we have, these are all set up in channels. So this far left channel is a rerun channel, which means all the product that gets discarded the first time gets routed back to that separate channel and gets ran through again. So in essence, a kernel of corn has to be bad 2 times in order for it to be gone and discarded for good. We actually have 3 gravities. Here are 2 gravities. They're Forsberg gravities. We have another gravity in the room next door that we'll go look at in a minute. But this is where we've split our tower in half right here. After it's gone through the 6x, we split it in half. So this gravity is running all flats. This gravity is running all rounds. So what I mean by that is large flats, little flats, all flats combined are going over across this gravity. Same thing with the rounds. The real design of this gravity is a density separator, and that is to take anything out that has light density. It's a little easier to explain on the other gravity, so let's go next door. So here's our 3rd gravity that we have. We have 3 gravities because if we have a hybrid that has a lot of flats, we can run 1 gravity out there on flats, and we can run this gravity on flats. In reverse, if we have a hybrid that has a lot of rounds, we can then run 1 gravity out there on rounds and this gravity on rounds, so we can maximize our capacity. We flood this entire screen full of corn about this thick. And when we turn this machine on, we blow a bunch of air through the bottom of this gravity in order to separate it, and we also shake it. So what we do is we stratify the corn by air, so anything that's light comes off the gravity table. Anything that's heavy stays on the gravity table. The gravity table shakes, so anything that's on the table gets traction and it works its way up and off that end of the gravity. Anything that's light is lifted up in the air and it works its way to this side of the gravity. So what happens is that we're separating corn this direction, on the table, above the table, and it gets separated this direction at that point. What happens is the shakes, we can continue to adjust the air in the shake in order to fine tune this machine. So everything that falls off that end of the table and falls off that end of the table is all good corn. It's all had traction, it's all heavy, it's all has high density, so it works its way off the table. Anything that falls in between this gate is what we call rerun, and what happens is it falls into this leg, goes back up in the air, and goes right back on the table again. Kind of like the color sorter, it has to finally make a decision if it's good or if it's bad. And then we adjust this gate based on how much trash or how much corn that we have that we want to throw away on this table to fall through this gate. So everything over here is, most of the time, is all really good corn. Here's what we call the middling or the rerun that has to have a second time to go through because it hasn't decided which part of the table that it wants to go to. And then this small gate is just for a little bit of discard, it gets thrown away. So we have flats coming up this leg into the sizing machine, which is the first sizer, which sizes our large flats and our large rounds that are up on this 3rd floor. Any of the seed that doesn't fall through these holes goes into the large bins on the 1st floor, and anything that falls through these screens go on to the next floor to hit another set of sizers. We have another series of sizing equipment up here that takes corn from the 3rd floor now to the 2nd floor and sizes corn that continues to flow through our system. So I'd be remiss to say that a lot of times we size 4 sizes, 2 flats and 2 rounds, what the industry does. But we also size a lot of different other ways too. So we have to adjust these sizing screens and our flow path depending on what sizes we want to make. Now we're in our treater room. So we had seed in those bins waiting to go to the treater. What happens is now we decide which grade sizes that we want to treat. We pull the corn out of the bins, send it up the leg to the floor that are above us to where we have surge hoppers, and fill those surge hoppers and head to these treaters. We have 2 treaters in here. One of our main treaters is a continuous flow through, or a GLCPS treater, which constantly flows corn through the treater and constantly applying the treatment. The other treater that we have on the other side of the treater room is a batch treater, which holds a batch of corn, treats a batch of corn, and then releases a batch of corn. Two different kinds of treaters for two different kinds of applications. We do lots of different colors, as you can tell, lots of different cocktails and combinations. And here's our treater tanks that we have. When we go downstairs, we'll see how we mix chemicals, but we end up mixing a lot of our chemicals downstairs and pumping them up, or we get chemicals in bulk. Primarily our cruiser or our insecticides, we get in bulk and then we pump them up here into these individual tanks. So just to get an overview real quick, those bins that we are seeing up there are the bins way up in the corner are the bins that the treaters were sitting on top of. So we had two treaters. Over there was the GLCPS treater that we were looking at most of the time. When it treats, it dumps right into those bins that goes right into our packaging equipment. Let's check a look out over here. Here starts the packaging process. We have the scale that sits above our packaging equipment. And from here, we have two choices. We can either package in paper bags or we can package in seed boxes or bulk bags. And what we do is we have this trolley that floats back and forth. So if we want corn to go into a box or a bulk bag, we drop it onto this conveyor, and then it drops it into a box or a bulk bag. If we want to put it in paper bags, we slide the conveyor over on a trolley, and then at that point, the corn can go through the scale and drop into the paper bags. We load our paper bags into here. It automatically picks up the paper bag and hangs it and fills the bag at a predetermined weight. It drops it. It continues to hold the top of the bag as it takes it from station to station. This is an automatic tag placer. We have the ability to put two different tags on at one time, so it automatically applies the tag as it's headed to the sewing machine. It gets sewed, printed, and gets kicked off. What happens is when it gets kicked off, we're able to adjust this conveyor here in order to move the seed in the bag either direction that we need to in order for it to be really flat and really full across from the top to the bottom in order for it to stack well. Then we have this conveyor that's square tubing. Square tubing really beats the bag just gently enough to vibrate the seed across the entire bag, and it also helps flatten it out. From here, it goes around a curved conveyor into a robot. So for our robot here, our robot station is here. Our bagging scale and our bagging controls are all right here. So when corn comes around, gets fed into our robot, we usually have pallets stacked in here. A lot of times we can have 3 pallets at a time, empty pallets stacked here on top of each other. The robot has 2 little suction cups on the end of it, so it swings and pulls the cardboard from the pile of cardboard and applies it to the pallet before it starts stacking. Once the cardboard's there, it starts stacking, and once it's done stacking, the robot comes in on a fork truck, breaks the light curtain, picks the pallet up, and pulls it over there to stack it to wrap the finished pallet. From here, from the wrapper, the fork truck takes it to the warehouse. And that's the end of the line for this tour.
Thank you, Aaron, for providing us with that tour. There are a lot of steps that go into how we get down to our perfect seed. So there's a lot of information in that, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a very interesting process that, like I said, has a lot of details in it that we have to get just right so that we can, in fact, produce the perfect seed. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. We hope you got something out of it. If you did, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. If you want more content from us, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. And if you want even more content from us, you can go subscribe to our monthly Total Focus newsletter. That is linked down in our bio. Anyway, thank you guys again for watching. We hope you enjoyed this special tour. We'll see you next time.